Hello, my illuminated souls. Welcome in. Thank you for tuning in. Let's get a message, a love message for the collective. Love messages for the collective. We're going to pull 3 cards and see what comes out for us. Anything we might need to know, anything we might need to see, any cards that can give us guidance or clarity. Whatever messages come out in regards to love for the collective. All right. So the overall energy is the moon. So the moon is a major arcana card. So there is divine intervention at play here, right? The moon, it can be confusion. It can be things being covered up, things being hidden. But it can also be things being illuminated. Those things that were once hidden could now be coming into the light, right? Because what is the saying that they always say? Whatever's done in the dark will always come to light. So maybe there are some situations right now that you weren't sure about, that you weren't clear on. I usually don't go too far into the deck with this one, but right underneath is the 2 of Cups. So this is a love read. There could be outside energies that you were not aware of that are influencing your relationship. That doesn't always necessarily mean like a third party or whatever, but this could be somebody close to your person who is influencing them, right? But, like I said, this is also illumination. And even if it's not illumination of particular details in a situation, this could be your illumination, your self-illumination, right? Coming into your own light, coming into your own understanding about this situation, right? Having divine intervention so that you're able to have these epiphanies, I want to say, so that you're able to have these realizations, that you're able to, release certain things and move forward, right? So the first card is the 9 of Pentacles, right? So, the 9 of Discs in this deck, but this card is independence. It is, standing in your own light, standing in your own worth, right? Because there's all these pentacles back here, right? This person's in, a fertile garden, all these pentacles, trees, all this greenery, there's birds, it's beautiful. This person is the only person we see on this card. They're here by themselves, but, they have everything that they need. They are confident, they are comfortable, they are wealthy, they are abundant, So this might be a time of, like I said, your self-illumination. Sometimes we need that time to be able to step into alignment with our true purpose, right? Because sometimes relationships distract us, right? It's like we want to do this and we want to do that, but then we have somebody that's like, oh, let's go on a date, let's go on a vacation, let's do this, or let's go out to eat, or come spend time. And it's like, those things are good, right? But it's like, we also need to make sure that we're still taking time for ourselves, and we're still building ourselves, right? And we're still walking in our purpose and doing what we're here to do, right? Relationships are great, and they, when there's a good, healthy relationship, it adds to our vibration. And if we have the right partner, they will encourage us and support us and help us move further. But if we have the wrong partners and they're not helping you grow, and they're not helping you better yourself, and they're not, encouraging you and supporting you and helping you to move forward, then that's not the person for you, right? So this could also be that illumination coming to you, right? It could be that maybe you're seeing the situation that you're in for what it is. You know, that could be what's being uncovered, right? You're finally seeing the truth of the situation that you're in, right? And then we have the Six of Spears. See how all these cards flow and they just make sense? The Six of Spears is like moving forward, moving past something, you know, leaving something behind, getting away from something. So, you know, once these things have been illuminated to you, or once you come to these realizations and you understand your worth and your value, you know, and you're ready to stand in your light and your purpose and leave these things behind and step into alignment, right? Now let's see this last card. The Hangman, right? So the Hangman is like looking at things from a different perspective, taking a time out from certain things. So for that to come at the end right here, and this is a divinely guided card as well. This is a major arcana. So this is the divine stepping in to intervene a little bit, right? So, you know, once you've gotten to the point where, you know, like, you know your worth, you're moving forward, and then the divine has stepped in, you know, to maybe tell you to take a break from relationships and work on yourself, right? Because sometimes people, you know, they get themselves together and they move forward, but as soon as they get themselves together and, you know, those certain people start calling, they fall right back, right? So maybe this is the divine saying, you know, once you leave these things behind, take some time to yourself. Take some time for you. You don't always have to jump right into another situation. You don't always have to have somebody to feel whole or to feel like there's nothing wrong with you, because there's nothing wrong with being single. There's nothing wrong with taking time out for yourself, you know, and it's definitely necessary, especially if you've been if you haven't been single for a while. If you've been single for a while, you know, it's a little different. But if you haven't been single and you've been in a relationship, you know, it's good to have some time to yourself before you jump into something else. You know, first of all, to give yourself time to heal, but then also you don't want to just jump into something, you know, with these raw emotions still, and then it'll end up being just a rebound, and maybe you'll hurt somebody else's feelings, and, you know, you're just passing these emotions back and forth. No, you know, it's time to understand that there is value, there is power in being alone, right? And I'm not telling you to be alone for the rest of your life unless that's what you want to do, you know, but this is saying there's power in being alone and standing strong in who you are, right? And when you stand strong in who you are, the right partner will attract themselves to you, right? So just focus on you. Focus on moving past everything and moving forward. And, you know, the divine has your back, right? It might look like, you know, why is there a pause on this area of my life? Why is this area not moving forward? Why is it? Because, you know, if you're in a relationship, it might not be the right one, right? Or if you're not in a relationship, it might not be the right time, right? Everything is in divine timing. But do not think that the divine has forgot about you. You know, it's just taking this time for you to build yourself so you can attract the right partner, right? Because we don't attract what we want. We attract what we are, right? So if you want to attract the best partner, then you want to be in your best energy, right? And be your best self. So the best thing to do is to take time to yourself. Treat yourself, care for yourself, show yourself the kind of love that you feel you deserve, that you desire, and that love will find its way to you, right? So thank you for tuning in. Much love, wealth, blessings, and abundance to you all. I'ma holla.